Okay, so I've got the fin detail drawn in to each fin, trying to be accurate on the actual number of fin rays in each one. I'm going to get my Dremel out here and get started on these. I'm going to start on the easiest one first, the tail. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I've got this little barrel cylinder shaped bit here, and I'll just come in down on between each ray and just carve little grooves all the way down to the end, and I'll turn it around and do the other side, and what that'll do is that'll form the ray. Then I'll come back in between that with a diamond bit and smooth it out. So let me get started here. Alright, I've got the tail done. To me, it's probably the easiest one to do, just because the fins, the rays are so far apart, with the exception of the pelvic fins. They've only got 5 to 6 rays in them, so they're pretty far apart also. The hardest one is the pectoral fins. They've got the most ray count, and they're smaller and thinner, so it's a little harder to get those straight, but I'm going to give it a shot here. It's where a steady hand comes in handy. Just take your time and go slow. That's why I made the extra ones, so if I mess up, I've got an extra one here to do. Gotta love the rain. The spiny dorsal is a little bit harder to do, especially for the tips. So I'm going to save that one to the last and finish out these other ones first. This is by far the hardest one to do to me. Is just getting those points on the end of the, and getting it thin. I know some people use actual thorns from certain kinds of trees. I just prefer to carve them myself. So there's the dorsal fin. May have gotten too much of a curve in that one because they're usually straighter than that, but it is what it is. Okay, so I'm going to do a little bit of light sanding, and I'm going to use this little abrasive. It's like a Brillo pad. They come in a couple different grits. This is the coarse one, and there's a darker brown one that's a finer coarse. They don't last very long, but they do a good job for getting down in the grooves and crevices. And you don't want to turn this up very fast. You want to start off slow. Make sure you wear glasses because this thing throws pieces of the brittle pad out. Try to go a little bit faster. Don't take much on them. What this does, it kind of rounds off the fins, the spines, and it'll also kind of give a little more of a point to the tip. Just very gently. It does remove a little bit of wood, so you gotta be careful. Okay, got these done. That one, the Spiny Dorsal, to me is by far the hardest of the fins to do. Just because the spines are hard to get straight and even, and then getting it thin enough to make them look real. I know some people will use thorns from certain kinds of trees or toothpicks. I like to carve them. But anyway, I'll take those in and get set up to burn the details in the edges of the fins. And then we'll be ready to mount them onto the body of the fish. I'll have to cut the grooves where these will go. And that's kind of a trial and error, fit and finish type deal. And but anyway, I'm going to get inside and set up and start burning the details in. Okay, so I'm set up now to do the to burn the details into these, and I'll be using the razor tip wood burner. Like this little unit, and the tip I'm going to be using is a real fine razor, sharp razor edge tip, and then I'll just be burning in the edges of the details of the fins in here. I'm going to start off using a piece of scrap so I get the heat set right. So let me turn that on. Doesn't take long for it to heat up. So give that a second. I like to use this this pen that's called the BPH. You can buy pens that have the tips made onto them, but they're like $35 depending on the tip you get. With this, I can change out the tips. Let's see, you see the little screws, and then I have here we go. And then I have several tips that you can put in, replace the ends on. So let's see if this is hot enough. Oh yeah. You see the might stand to be a little bit hotter. So I'm going to bring it up to 7 here. And then I'm going to start putting these fin details in. Let's start on the end here. Now, if you look real close, make a V shape, and then I come off of that with another tip here, and go to the other side, come off with another one, and about halfway down I come over a little bit more. So basically what they do is they come down, split off, and then there's a split here, then they split again. So then that's what I'm burning on here. Alright, so let me get going here. And one of the things I'll put in the fins is little splits. A lot of times the fish will have a split, the fin will split, and I can do that with the burner. I'll just come to the end of the tail here, and let's find a spot here, and we'll just so I'll just put a little split in it. And I'll also just come in here just a little bit, just touch the ends of it, just gives it a little bit of texture on the end. And I may do that in a couple other places, and I'll do it on may do it on several other fins. But anyway, what I'm doing here is just marking a little line where the rays split, so that it keeps them uniform. Okay, I've got all the detail on the fin rays burned in. And in the next video, I will be showing you how I carve the slots for the fins to fit in. We'll have the dorsal fins, be a slot here for the pectoral fins, a couple slots here for the pelvic fins, and of course the anal fin. So anyway, I'm going to stop there for today, and see you on the next video.